In this session, we are going to discuss arrays, structures, and enums. Have a quick look on agenda of the session: single dimensional array, array class, array of reference types, multidimensional array, jagged array, structures, and enumerators. Fine. Let us start with definition of arrays. Array is a data structure which is capable to store multiple values of same data type. In programming, whenever you wanted to store and manage multiple values, you can use arrays instead of using multiple variables. For example, if you wanted to store marks of 50 students, you should use integer array of size 50 instead of declaring 50 different variables. Array is reference type, that means they occupy memory on heap and stores reference on stack. Also, all arrays in .NET automatically get derived from abstract base class array. So always remember that base class for each and every array is array class. And as shown here, array element can be accessed using indexes. Array always start with index 0 and the last index is always less than 1 of the array size. In this example, if we will access mark 0, it will return 20, but if we will try to access marks 3, we will get index out of range exception. Fine, let us see how to declare array. Array can be declared in multiple ways. Here, int square bracket array1 will declare a reference on stack, while new int 5 will create actual object of integer 5 of size 5 on heap, and its reference will get stored over here. So this is a standard declaration of array, but there are some variations available. For example, here we are skipping out the size because we are initializing it at the time of declaration, so automatically it will count the elements that we are initializing and will take the size. Fine, this is one shorthand notation available over here. If you wanted to initialize at the time of declaration, you can even skip out this part. Compiler will convert it in that anyway. You can have reference declaration and instantiation of array on separate lines. Fine, to understand concept well, let us have a look on this example. Here we are declaring marks, array of 3 integers, say to store marks in 3 subjects. So you can see that array will get created like this. Also, default value for array elements, numeric array elements, will be always 0. So all elements will be initialized to 0. Then we are asking user to enter marks in 3 subjects. Using for loop, we will read it. Value of I will be 0 in first iteration, so marks 0, say user have entered 20, then marks 1 50, and then marks 2 60. So this way we have read values. Then obviously when I will equal to 3, it will exit from this loop, and then you wanted to print these marks. So again you are using for loop to print it. When another loop, that is for each loop, is available over here to access elements from array. So here you are writing for each int m in marks. So one by one element of marks will come in m and you will print m. So the advantage of using for each loop is that you need not to know size of array. Let us have a look on array class. As we have discussed, every array in .NET get derived from array class. The advantage is that all methods and properties of array class are always available to every array. Also, array class provides various static utility methods that can be used on any array to make operations easy. For example, array.sort method sorts the array. To understand it, let us have a look on small example. Here we are creating one array numbers of 5 numbers. We are initializing it at the time of declaration only. Array.sort is a static method of array class which will sort numbers in ascending order, and then you can print it. While printing it, you can see that in for loop I haven't used I is less than 5. Instead of I have used I is less than numbers minus numbers dot length. So this will get calculated dynamically. The advantage is that if tomorrow I'll increase size of array to 10, I need not to modify this code. So this is how length property of array class is useful for me. So basically length property is defined in array class, but it is available to your numbers because numbers is array and automatically get derived from array class. Same way you can use some other methods like array.reverse will reverse your numbers. There are some more useful methods like index of. The first parameter to index of is array and second parameter is the element that you wanted to find out. So as index of 54 is 1, it will return 1 in index and then you can print it on console. So this is how you can use various properties and methods of array class to make your life easier. One important aspect to understand is array of reference type, because array of reference types are maintained differently in the memory. Let us try to understand it using this example. Here we are creating one array computers of strings, and we know that strings are a reference type. We are initializing it with 3 elements: Titan, Mira and K computer. So interestingly, this array will get created in memory like this. You can see that string reference computers, this will create one reference to array of strings. You can read that computer is reference to array of strings. Fine. And as you are initializing it with 3 members, so obviously it will create array of size 3. As it is of reference is of string type, so it will create this also of string type. But as string is of reference type, it will actually hold references to string. So this string will get created like this, one independent object. So every string will get created as an independent object and its references will get maintained over here in array. So you can see that first element of array is pointing to Titan, second element is pointing to Mira and third element is pointing to K computer. So in fact the size of array will be 4 bytes plus 4 bytes. And then you can print this array using for each loop. One thing you should observe here that n is of string type, as you are going to copy individual element of computers array in n. So first Titan will get copied over here, will get printed, then Mira will get copied over here, will get printed like this. Also keep in mind that default value for reference type array is always null. If you wanted to represent information in rows and column format, then you can use two-dimensional array. If you wanted to represent some information in rows and columns format, then you can use two-dimensional array. To understand two-dimensional array, let us have a look on this example. Enter marks in for subject of student 1. Let us enter marks. Enter marks in for subject of student 2. And now let us marks in for subject of student 3. So this way we have entered marks of 3 students, and then it will give you output like this: scoreboard, student 1, student 2 and student 3. So let us try to understand what exactly we have done over here. So you can create two-dimensional array using this declaration. It will create a reference on stack and it will create actual object on heap like this. You are saying that there are 3 rows and 4 columns. So 3 rows 0 to 2 and 4 columns 0 to 3. Now to read values from user, you need to use nested loops. This is outer loop which is first initialized to 0. So the message will be enter marks in 4 subjects of student 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. Then inside loop will get initialized to 0 and you will read marks from console and will put it in location 0 0 like this here. Then j will get incremented to 1. Again you will come inside and 0 1 like. Then 0 2 this one, 0 3 this one. Once j will reach to 4, 4 is less than 4 is fail, so you will come here and will go to I++. So this time value of I is 1. Enter marks in 4 subjects of student 1 plus 1 is 2, so student 2. And then again j will get initialized to 0 and you will enter marks which will go to 1 0, that is 1 0, 1 1, 1 2, 1 3 and so on. Now let us print it. So to print it, here use console.writeLine. Scoreboard will print simple message. Then below that you wanted to print student, but you don't wanted to print insert new line character because you wanted marks of student in one line. So you are using write statement over here. Same thing, console.write 0 0 0 1 0 2 0 3 and then you will get outside of this loop and console.writeLine will insert new line character and will take your cursor in next line. Then value of I will be 1 and student 2. Same thing will happen over here. This way you can use double dimensional array to manage tabular information. In .NET there is one new type of array, that is jagged array. This array is also known as array of arrays. Every element of jagged array is array itself. These arrays can be of different dimensions and sizes. You can create jagged array using this syntax. Let us try to understand it using simple example. Here you are creating a reference to jagged array. These two square brackets are representing that a is reference to jagged array or a is reference to array of array. See here. Now new int 3 then square bracket will actually create array of 3 references of integer arrays. You can say a of 0 is equal to new int 2. So new int 2, so this declaration will create array of size 2 with these 2 elements and its reference will go to a of 0. Same way new int 4 will create array of 4 elements and its reference will go to a of 1, and new int 3 will create array of size 3 54 76 23 and its reference will go to a of 2, that is a of 2. So this is how jagged array can be created. Now to print jagged array, again you are using nested loop, but this time you are sure about value of I. It will vary from 0 1 2 0 to 2, but you are not sure about j because every array is of different size. So here you are using a of I length. Now what will happen when I is 0, then a of 0 length will be 2. So this loop will execute twice, for 0 and then for 1. Same way, when value of I is 1, a of 1 dot length is 4. So this loop will get execute 4 times for 0, 1, 2 and 3. Same thing is true about third array. So this is all about arrays. Now let us have a look on structures. Struct keyword give you chance to create your own data type. You need to create your own data type as built-in data types are not capable to represent real life entities. For example, if you are writing employee management system, so you wanted to represent employee. So to represent employee or to store information of employee, obviously you will need variables. One choice is that you can declare employee number, name, salary, city, phone number, HRA, TA, DA, all these separate variables of respective data types, say integer, floats, characters. Obviously it will be not manageable if you wanted to represent or if you wanted to store information of 50 employees. So you need to create array of individual member, which is not real life solution. So better way is that create your own data type employee using struct keyword and then create variables from employee data type. Now in object oriented programming, with the introduction of classes, we don't use struct to create complex data type, but still structs are useful to create small data types. Structs are of value type, so they will be get created on stack always. Structs can implement interfaces but can't inherit from another struct or class. If you don't understand this statement, don't worry. When we will discuss interfaces and inheritance, this point will get clear. Here you can see one note. Struct can contain constructors, constants, fields, methods, properties, indexers, operators, events, and even nested types. That means you can see that structs are very powerful and can support various things, but still it is recommended to use class if all these things are required. In this example, we are creating one small structure point with two members x and y to represent x coordinate and y coordinate of point. Now in main, we can create variable of structure point like this. It is same as you create variable of int a or float p. Same way we are creating point p1. So point is now data type like integer, float. The only difference is that int float is built-in data type, whereas point is user defined data type or derived data type. So point p1 will create variable p1 in stack like this. Obviously both are integers, so initial value will be 0. Then you can ask user to enter x and y axis of point. So when user will enter this information, you are putting it in p1.x and then p1.y like this, and same way you can print this information. So you are accessing struct members using dot operator over here. Also you should note that you are able to access x and y, the member of structure, from outside this structure because they are declared as an public. We will discuss these access modifiers in great detail when we will discuss classes. Enum is one another keyword which also allow you to create your own data type, but it's very different than structure. Here you can see that we have created a gender data type using enum keyword with list of some values, male, female and other. The meaning is that whenever you will create variable from gender data type, you will be only able to assign value from this list to that variable. Also internally, male will get stored as 0, female will get stored as an 1 and other will get stored as an 2. So here if I will assign female to G1, G1 will store 1. So G1 will be actually of integer type and will store 1 inside it. The enum keyword is used to declare an enumeration, a distinct type consisting of set of named constant called enumerator list. The default underlying type of enumeration elements is integer, like this. G1 will by default get created as an integer. By default, the first enumerator has the value 0 and the value of each successive enumerator is increased by 1. Here you can see that male is 0 by default, then female is 1 and other is. In this example we are creating gender, but this time I am initializing male with value 10. So female will be represented as 11 and other will be represented as 12. So if I will create gender G1 is equal to gender dot female, it will contain value 11. You can print it like this. If you will print G1, it will print female, but if you will typecast it into integer, then you will get actual value of. So there are two clear advantages of enumerator. One is saving of memory, as you are storing integers internally to represent big strings. Second one is you can define possible values that can be assigned to this variable, reducing the confusion of application developer. Thank you.